This week on Questionarium, we're going to take a look at your burning questions about StarCraft 2's closed multiplayer beta on Questionarium. As a brief recap, StarCraft 2 is the follow-up to Blizzard's critically acclaimed 1998 real-time strategy title, StarCraft. A game that continues to be a mainstay of international competitive esport play over a decade since its launch. With StarCraft 2's imminent release drawing closer by the day, we answer your questions about this hotly anticipated game. Lolly66 asks, is the game balanced? Do all the species feel even? Even in the first game, the Protoss would usually be the victors, unless the opponent was a good player as Terran or Zerg. Has this changed? Is the game balanced? Absolutely. StarCraft has never been a game about picking the right or the wrong race. Online matchups in the beta are done blind, so there's no seeing who your opponent is picking and then one-upping them with the better race. There aren't necessarily exact equivalent units across factions, but that's the fun of working out which race is right for you and your particular playstyle. We've played as Terran, Protoss and Zerg against a bunch of online players and won and been beaten by the various combinations. So right now it doesn't seem like Protoss is the automagic win button. That said, the whole point of the beta is to adjust and fine-tune, and already Blizzard has released tweaks increasing and reducing stats based on how people are playing. Illmatic87 wants to know, are the build orders intact with the original, or did they add things like Vespene gas as a requirement for creating buildings? Build orders are very similar to StarCraft. You're still going to start out with the basic Town Hall style home base and a handful of workers and build outwards as you grow your resource reserves. You'll still build, warp or grow some form of barracks for ground troops and progress to unlock more advanced units. As was the case in StarCraft, advanced structures still require minerals and gas to build, but each of the factions now has at least one basic structure that requires gas to be made. For the Terrans, it's a sensor tower that identifies foes at range. Protoss have the cybernetics core that can warp in stalkers and sentries, and the Zerg get a baneling nest for morphing Zerglings into banelings. Just for Kicks asks, how does Battle.net go with multiplayer matchmaking? I was disappointed to hear LAN taken out since I was going to play a lot with a mate. We can only speak for the beta StarCraft 2 part of Battle.net, but from what we've seen and been told so far, it's a very natural extension of the old BNet. Some of the biggest new features include cross-game chat, allowing you to talk to friends whether they're playing StarCraft 2, World of Warcraft, or eventually when it comes out, Diablo 3. StarCraft 2 is also adding a new ranked match ladder system and a skill-based matching so that you're always paired with people around the same level. So far, we've had absolutely no trouble finding a game in the 1 vs 1 and 2 vs 2 matches, and once the game is actually on shelves and out with the fans, we imagine you should be able to get a game just about any time. Sean832 wants to know, does it feel like StarCraft? Feels? Yes. Looks? Yes. Plays? Yes. Visually, the game borrows a lot from the legacy of the original, but the new and very scalable 3D graphics means that you can scroll in on units and watch them drilling away at minerals or pop as they spawn into a Zerg outpost, regardless of how good your PC is. New features like terrain height give you a tactical advantage, and controlling relics like the Zelnaga watchtowers gives you a longer line of sight in the fog of war. Interactive elements like rocks outside major choke points and near your starting areas help reduce the chances of being infantry rushed early in the game. Nifty new features like idle worker icons tell you when your unwatched SCVs are done constructing buildings and need a new job. Illmatic87 also asks, I take it the shortcuts, hotkeys, controls and interface are the same as the first? Not all of them are exactly the way they were. It looks like there's a focus now on keeping your left hand, if you're righty on the mouse, on the WASD keys. Changes like moving the burrow ability from the U button to the R might throw you for a spin initially, but it means less stretching and fumbling around during play. Some enterprising users have already found ways to create custom key mapping for the multiplayer beta, though there's speculation that since Warcraft 3 supported them, Blizz may add custom key shortcut support in the final game or post-launch. The playfield and hub interface have been given a spit and a polish, but haven't changed enough to be unfamiliar. Even lapsed StarCraft fans should be able to get right back into the saddle, clicking, scrolling and building in the first couple of minutes. You can still mouse select groups of units and form teams by hitting the control button and assigning a team number for quick selection. And finally, Veeks probes, are you required to drink Dr. Pepper to be good at this game? My friends used to smash me at StarCraft Brood War, and I put it down to my dislike for the Dr. Pepper they were drinking at the time. That's an interesting question, Veeks. We've combed the documentation with the beta, and there's no suggestion that your performance even takes into consideration your soft drink preference. Because of this glaring oversight, we can only assume it's because Blizzard hasn't gotten around to including it yet, but frankly we'd be disgusted if they didn't rectify the issue before the game's public release. Starcraft 2 is due out on the PC and the Mac in 2010.